what's up you guys, this is Rob from A Gay Guy Plays, and this is maybe the 20th time now. Every single time I feel like I've got the episode down, and then something epically bad happens to like prevent the recording from going all the way through. But today on the Daily Grind, we will be revisiting one of the most nerf frames in game, Trinity. Now I don't know if maybe it's just her badass luck transferring onto my ass or something, but legitimately, if I feel a little bit off today, or if I come off a little bit off, it is because of the fact that this is like the 20th time that I've tried to do this intro. I think it's maybe been about like 4 or 5 hours that I've tried to record this video now, and I don't know what's going on. Anyway, let's just shut up, get to the build. So as you can see, the build that I'm currently using today, it's gonna be pretty much kind of like an extended duration, or as extended a duration as we could possibly make Blessing be, while also pumping it up to the 75% damage bonus reduction. I kind of really like this build, but we'll talk about that in a second. We'll move on. This is the energy vampire build that is also pretty damn popular out there. Basically, this one allows you to leech energy from enemies and also kind of restore the shields of allies. So the first build was really about like damage resistance and giving your allies damage resistance. This one is a bit more about giving them energy and also piling shields on top of that. Now, I've made this joke about 20 times as well. And this is my abating link build. Hardy hard har har har. Now, I actually don't use abating link, but I do know a lot of people that are super fond of it. It is an augment that reduces enemy armor by 45% at its base for every enemy that's attached to you. So basically, any enemy that's attached to you has their armor reduced by 45%. Now you can actually pump this up with power strength. If you want to strip their armor completely, that requires about 223% power strength, which means that you're gonna have to use blind rage plus something else plus the mod. And I don't know if you feel the same way as me, but if I'm gonna use blind rage, I'm gonna have some form of efficiency to offset it a little bit. I don't care if you can zap something for its energy. That's a lot of initial energy cost to cost yourself for energy. But hey, you know what? Headshot, actually, me and Headshot had talked about this abating link stuff at the end of one of the second streams, like off air, and he was playtesting it and he absolutely loved it. So definitely pop on over to his channel and take a look and see that build, and hopefully he'll have something that you enjoy using or something for you to experiment with. However, me personally, I like this build because it's nice and tanky. But I've talked enough, and we're just gonna jump into a mission. Now, the cool thing for me, at least about Trinity, the one thing that I really like, is the fact that she has so many different variations that you can feasibly use. What do we have? We have an exterminate, we have a spy. Let's go ahead. What else? Where else are we near? Are we near you? So sometimes this is like so far away from everything. I'm like, what are you near? Well, it did show something in here, so I'm assuming there's a sabotage, and that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and do that exterminate real quick. Oh, survival. Survival's always good. So the thing that I like about Trinity is because of the fact that she actually does have a couple of different playstyles. As I was saying earlier, the EV one is more about stacking shields, and also because of the fact that you're still a little bit squish, because you don't have the damage reduction and the duration isn't necessarily there for the build. Your link is a little bit weaker, your blessing damage reduction is a little bit weaker, so you really don't have the tankiness that you get from something like an extended duration blessing build, something that's just solely devoted to that. Now, with this variation, you can like literally get into enemies' faces because of the fact that you can become extremely tanky. But with the EV one, you kind of have to sit back and be a little bit more like strategic and, you know, surveil the field a little bit more, placing your energy vampires around so that you can kind of help restore shields and keep teams up like that. Not that you can't, you know, smack out a quick blessing here and there just in case you need to restore a little bit of lost health, but legitimately mainly because of the fact that people are gonna want you to keep your shields up, keep the energy up. You're gonna be restoring a shield a little bit more than you're gonna be doing health. Now, for me, I also noticed one interesting thing about her playstyle, and I don't know about anybody else if they feel this way too, but I noticed that whenever I play Trinity, I become a lot more focused on where players are. Like, I'm always constantly watching where the affinity things are on the screen, to make sure that everybody's, you know, still in range of me, and that I can go ahead and make sure to keep them healed. All of that kind of mess. And I actually, when I was of the millions of times I was playing earlier, I actually noticed I was really kind of like shitting it on objectives. Like, I was not doing a great job objective-wise, mainly because of the fact that I was so focused on keeping everybody's HP up. There was one point when we were doing like a flood, and I was like, oh my god, I'm like really trying to pay attention to make sure that everybody stays alive. During one of the floods, literally just this Kufa just wafted by my face, and I'm like, fuck, hold on, transform real quick. And by the time I got into my little child form, it was too late. But, you know, that's kind of like what it is in Warframe. It's a very unique thing to have a class that is, you know, pretty much solely dedicated to support and heals. It's not something that you have from a lot of people every day. So, having to play that right there, hold on. Come on. Yes, I got it. Was that my first one? Yes. So that's kind of one of the interesting things that I find about Trinity. But I also really like the fact that I can make her tanky. And like put her in a dress. You know, she's in this big, like, you know, floppy dress, and you know, she looks all feminine and like delicate, but she got like giving her a big hammer and a shotgun so that she can go in and like mash people's faces in, because it looks a lot cooler. You know, the game feels a lot cooler when you're wielding a big fucking hammer and you're in a dress. At least for me. Now, the thing about Trinity is, and while I still honestly believe that she is one big-ass powerhouse as she stands right now, back in the day, she was even crazier. Now, for those of you guys who are a little bit newer to the game, Trinity's Blessing, basically, you know the damage reduction component that happened to it? It wasn't damage reduction. It was legitimately invincibility. You just got invincibility for that portion of time. Oh! Let's go in here and let's mess some people up. Because, you know, I'm a lady in a dress, and there's nothing cooler than smashing down a squad with your big-ass fucking hammer when you're a lady in a dress. But yeah, so she used to be able to make teams completely invincible with the duration of her ultimate, and on top of that, her ultimate did not have a range on it before. It was actually just completely zone-wide. So, of course, clearly there was some big changes. Now, initially, it went from being invincibility just to damage reduction. Now, of course, the damage reduction could be boosted up to 99%. So you would have this zone-wide 99% damage reduction. Now, clearly that was like, you know, they were not having that. They're like, oh, okay, it's not, people are still gaming this whole thing. And the big thing about that we noticed is it definitely felt like, at least from the way that it was presented to me, the way that I was paying attention to everything in kind of like chats and whatnot, was all basically that it was player-driven nerfs. People, like we were talking about, players were actually feeling that her ability to make the team invincible was just was not a positive thing. They didn't want her to be able to do that. So, you know, for all of those people who cry about getting one-shotted, this you can thank the community. You can thank the community for getting her nerfed. Oh, I get too excited with her and her goddamn hammer. So what eventually happens is I'm still murdering things even though I should already be going. But yeah, that was, I found that very, very interesting because, you know, the same thing was said about Wukong. Oh, it's, the gameplay is boring, like I'm not liking that. And people were actually saying, and this was something that, you know, we heard, that people felt that she was ruining games. They're like, I don't want to be invincible. I don't want to be invulnerable. And I guess that's the exact same story that kind of happened with Wukong. People are like, meh, it's kind of boring to be that way. Oh, God, hold on. There you go. There you go. Top in. And there's no better feeling, I'll be honest with you, when I'm watching those HP bars. I'm like, there's no better feeling than, like, getting in a heal as soon as you see someone's health spike down and it just pops back up. Which actually brings me to the next variation of her nerf, was they took out the 99% damage reduction, and what they ended up doing was saying, okay, now what you get is the damage reduction portion that you get is based on the discrepancy between the health healed. So let's say you only heal someone for 2% of their health. That means that your damage reduction would only be 2% across the whole team. So it's kind of like the most health that you've healed. So then what we went ahead and did is we created the self-damaging Trinity, which would basically bring herself down to 2 health by the use of quick thinking, and usually it was, I don't think it was ever a, I don't know, some people use pentas, some people use kastanas, a lot of people use power throw and a glaive in order to do it, and then she would heal the team up and give them the 99% damage reduction. Like, Jesus! Everybody's like trying to game the system. They're like, wait, we don't want to be invincible, but some of us really want to be invincible. So everybody's trying to make this build happen, and it just kind of illustrates the two clashing parts of the community. There's one part of the community that wants the challenge. There's the other part that's like, hey, I mechanically I can fix this. Is there really no other Kuva? I guess we're just gonna do Palace, which is an exterminate. That should make for a quick video, hopefully. But yeah, so I found that really, really interesting because we have one group of people that's just not for it. We have another group of people that wants for it. So what ended up happening is DE kind of like met in the middle and said, all right, no more of this gamey gamer stuff to give you the 99% damage reduction, and these other people, we're just gonna give you 75% damage reduction. So my question for you guys is, number one, how do you guys feel? Okay, because it's really two different subjects, because you can't really necessarily 100% say that, oh, it's right 100% of the time. But number one, how do you guys feel about player instigated nerfs? Like, for me, I'm kind of like, okay, if one Warframe is more powerful than other Warframes, I'm like, who cares? Like, that's not the frame that I play. It doesn't affect, you know, it might only affect my gameplay if I choose to play with that person. I can always bail out if I really don't want to play with that Warframe, you know? But there are some people that, you know, always feel like they're like, nah, we need to knock these frames down. Oh, there it is. Get it. Did I get it? I think I got it. Did I get it? No, I didn't. Somebody else got it. I saw somebody else in the back sparking it. But yeah, like, how do you guys feel about player instigated nerfs? Because there's always a lot of people that are like, listen, we need this and we need that, and it was, for me, it was a really funny nerf because I was like, you don't want to be invincible? Like, let's be real. Sometimes we get on teams that need a little bit of invincibility. You know, there are some people that struggle a little bit. So sometimes, and that's what I always said about Trinity. She was a big game changer because if you were in a shitty group, you could just say, no, listen, I'm just gonna make you invincible forever. That way you can't fuck shit up. And let's be real, every single one of us, especially those of us who like have jumped into public groups a lot, we know, we know damn well that there are some groups that need that invincibility. However, I don't know, at this point in time, I guess, like, when I play her, I definitely feel fair. Like, I feel it's fair because I can still make Trinity extremely, extremely tanky. Like, you know, I could just stand in this fire. I'm alright, no big deal. As long as I have both of my buffs on and I'm paying attention to them, and I'm keeping myself topped off with energy. And that's the thing. I feel like there's a lot of... It's I won't say it's unfounded, but it takes a lot of effort to keep Trinity invincible, which I guess it's kind of like, alright, you worked for it, you got it. Because what is it? It's a 75% damage reduction, and then I should check on the amount of damage reduced by each one, but you can get a pretty high damage reduction from Link as well, as long as you're linked to 3. So it's one of those things where it's kind of like, alright, well, you can be tanky, but the rest of your team is only a little bit tankier. So at least that's my stand on it right now. The only thing that really genuinely hurts is the fact that we got that 50-meter range nerf, or 50-meter range rebalancing. But so, like, it's a rare day that I'll use the term nerf, but it definitely felt a little nerfy. I'm like, mainly because of the fact that I spend a lot of the time trying to juggle, you know, like I said, I'm always watching those health bars, so I'm trying to kind of juggle between like keeping up with the group to make sure that I'm always with the group, but one member has gone one way, another member's gone another way, and you're like, okay, somebody's looking for Kuva while we're defending this point. You're like, oh shit, they're taking damage, so I gotta move this way, but oh no, the defense point's getting hit, and it gets to be a little bit frustrating, and I know that you can kind of like offset that with a little bit of help from Vazarin, but I don't necessarily want to have, so for those of you guys who don't know or haven't gotten it confirmed with your own body, is you can use the Vazarin because her heal range is affected by affinity, range. So whatever her affinity range is what her heal range is. So the only thing that currently affects affinity range is one of the benefits that you actually get from Vazarin. And Vazarin extends it up by 17 meters. So basically, at max range, it's 67 meters. If I'm not incorrect, if my math isn't bad. But yeah, and I mean, that definitely helps out a little bit. But sometimes, you know, your team gets away from you. In fact, one of the things that I found very, very surprising, especially when playing Floods, is your pets, your companions. I don't know why, but they fucking get 50 meters away from you pretty goddamn often, which is extremely frustrating because I'm like, oh, there's my cat. It doesn't have an affinity symbol on it, but I'm just assuming, I'm like, oh, well, you're my cat, so you're with me. So you must, of course, have a heal going. So you put that down and look at my little, look at the love. Look at the kitty love. Thank you, Aspen, for that love, and I'm glad you were able to stay alive instead of running off like in the fucking other videos that I tried to record today and you just disappeared past the 50-meter range. What are you doing 50 meters away from me? Regardless, that's kind of like those are kind of my current feels on Trinity. I feel like she's in a good place now, and I feel like she's dodging the old meme, well, it's Wednesday, better nerf Trinity. I feel like she's in a bit of a balanced place. I wish I crossed my fingers for just a little bit more range on her ultimate, because, you know, it is a bit of a pain, and players go down very, very quickly. So it's kind of like if they were out of range of the initial blessing to reduce their damage intake by 75%, it's a little bit hard to like, okay, where are you now? Where are you going? And let me make sure that this stays on you for a little bit so you don't die instantly. But at least that's my current take on Trinity. Let me know how you guys feel about her state now. I know I kind of missed the, you know, invincible. Okay. I got a lot of heat for the last video. They're like, oh, Loki Master Race talking about the game being easy. I know, and it makes me sound even more Master Race-y when I'm like, well, I wish the invincibility was back. But legitimately, you know, it made healing a little bit less difficult. And to be 100% honest with you, when I'm a healer, I turn into a bitch. In any other game that I've played, I turn into a big bitch. So basically, let's look at Link real fast. So damage reduction is 75%, I believe, on enemies when you're taking on 3 enemies at a time, right? I believe that's like split into thirds. Regardless, 75% plus 75% damage reduction from Blessing, that makes you really, really tanky, and I really like playing her like that. Also let me know which preferred style of Trinity do you like. Do you like a baiting Link Trinity? How do you guys feel about a baiting Link Trinity? Do you like energy Vampire Trinity, or do you like to be like tanky like me and just get in people's faces with a big hammer and a dress? Oh, it just sounds super, super gay now. Anyway, this is where I'm cutting the video off. I'm saying that we're done here because of all of the stress I've been put under today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what other Warframes you guys want me to check out in the future. Let me know how you feel about player-infused nerfs, which I'm always not super, super fond of. But anyway, I will talk to you guys later. You guys take care, and as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.